Okay, today also, I mean, I got vaccinated finally. Okay, I think quite late in the day, I suppose. Most of my friends have already been vaccinated. But yeah, it was a good experience. So yeah, can't complain. One request to everyone would be that if you can afford to pay for your vaccine, I would suggest go in with that. Let's leave the vaccines to to somebody who probably the free ones, to somebody who needs it more. We are all humanity. We're all part of the same earth. So let's try and do that. Yeah, and most of you are doing that. I know that, but it's just something that when I was booking, I realized that we have choices. And sometimes by default we look for free ones, but this is something that we can do. Okay, great. So let's begin. And I would love some participation from you guys. So I'm going to ask you a few questions in between. Use the chat box to to put in your responses, and we will then take it from there. Okay. So today's session is lessons from a trading legend. Okay. That legend, who's the legend? Okay, we'll come to that. Uh, So this is a standard disclaimer. None of the information in this document should be construed as an advice offer to buy or sell anything. Okay, this is purely intended for trading, for educational purposes only. Okay, and please consult with your financial advisor. I keep saying, so I run a couple of free WhatsApp groups where I post stock levels, and I always tell people that don't be in a hurry to trade. Okay, or don't be in a hurry to make money. The markets have been here. They've been here before we were born, and they will continue long after we are gone. Okay, so don't be in a hurry, because in a hurry the worst thing you can do is make a loss. Okay, and making losses is fine, but knowing which losses to make is an art in itself. Okay, so my suggestion would be that if you're not very sure of what to do with the markets, don't do anything. Okay, that's also a stance that you're taking, right? And we are not SEBI registered investment advisors or research analysts, neither are we required to be so. Okay, and yeah, we are not liable for any losses, blah blah blah. This is a standard disclaimer which I need to prove. Okay, most of you or some of you may not know me, and that's fine. Okay, I'm a serial entrepreneur. My name is Jay Rathod. Okay, I have business experience of more than 18 odd years. I was part of a solar energy advisory. I was co-founder in a company called Natural Energy Solutions. We were known as Natural Group, and it's also recognized as one of the 50 most influential solar energy leaders in India in 2015. So I ran this for about 10 odd years, and it was a great field. Loved it, but it was not where my heart was. So by the side, since 2002, since the or almost 2001, I would say, when I first started making money in a job, I've always been fascinated with the markets. Okay, and one of the main fascinations was I was never attracted with the fixed deposit rates, even though at that time they were like close to, I think, 11-12%. But that was still too less, for me. I was like, I'm working hard, so my money should work as hard, if not harder. How many people can relate to that? Does it make sense? That your money should work, especially in these times, that your money better work as hard as at least you are doing. How many people can relate to that? If you can, just quickly type I in the chat box. Yep. Okay, great. Fabulous. Yeah, I mean, if it's not happening, then probably we are in the wrong room. Okay, and yeah, so I started in 2002. I'm a system trader. Okay, so which means I like to devise systems with clear-cut rules for entry, exit, stop loss management of the trade, when to enter, when to exit. Okay, all of that. So, and even so, even in my discretionary strategies where I do use certain amount of judgment. Okay, even there I have tried to make it as systematic as possible, because only when you do something as per a system which is hopefully proven, okay, can the results also be more or less predictable. Okay, not entirely, because in the stock market is a game of probabilities, not certainties, but more or less you can, if you have a system in place, then you're taking, I always say, the weakest part of any trading strategy is the trader himself. So the more you can remove the trader from the equation, the more successful you're likely to be. Okay. At last count, I've devised more than 100 plus systematic / algo trading strategies. Okay. I'm a 13-time winner of the Zerodha 60-day challenge. It's an award given to those traders who are net profitable at the end of each separate leg of 60 trading sessions. Okay. So that's 60 trading sessions, which is roughly 3 months multiplied by 13. So that's 39-month period of profitability. Of course, I was profitable before this also, but that was not through Zerodha, so there was no certificate given to me. That's what it was. So I'm a firm believer in back testing as well. If you ever do my course, I'm going to rant about this, till the cows come home. I mean, back testing is what it is. I know mutual fund standard, everybody's heard, past performance does not, equate to future performance. But according to me, while that is true, without past performance, there can be no future performance, so at least you need a base to begin with. You need a profitable track record to begin with. And that may or may not, fructify, but that is the starting point. Okay. Never trade anything which does not have a profitable, track record, any strategy. Okay. So what is the Zerodha 60-day challenge? I've already, mentioned that. So like I say, you can lie to the whole world about your trading and investing profits and losses, but not to your broker, So this is an award given by the broker because he knows whether you're profitable or not. Okay, these are some certificates. Like I said, 11 times in the equity and futures and options segment. Okay, because I trade Bank Nifty futures as well as equity on the long side, and twice commodities. As you can see, the date of commodities 2017. I stopped trading commodities after that. I was like, this is too stressful to trade from 9 o'clock in the morning to 11:30 in the night. I was like, this is not long term. Not sustainable. That equity is more than enough for me. Okay, so this is the trading legend that we are going to talk about today. Okay, how many of you here know this gentleman? You can quickly type in the chat box me. Okay, or if you know the name, you can type in the name as well. I know the photograph itself. All right, so Milind has got it perfectly. Yeah. So this is Jesse Livermore. Okay, he is one of the most legendary traders of all time. Okay, the photographs are black and white because he's from a ancient time, if I can call it that. Not ancient in the sense of, of course there are centuries, but as far as time is concerned, it's not ancient. But as far as trading is concerned, it's ancient, because we're talking about a trader who traded in the 1910s to 1940s. Okay, so that's like almost 100 years ago. Okay, or 70, 80 years ago at least. All right, and incredible guy. Okay, now why should we learn about Jesse Livermore? Now, he was a stock trader who, at his peak in 1929, okay, which was also the end of the bull market in the US, called the Roaring 20s, as the phase was called. He was worth $100 million, which in today's money roughly equates to 1.5 billion. Okay, that's a staggering amount of money. And for somebody who did not run a hedge fund, okay, this was all his own money that he traded. So he was zero, and from zero he went to 100 million. Okay, and at one time he was one of the richest men in the world. Okay, so this shows that the guy was successful. He knew what he was doing. Okay, and that's why it's worth learning from him. Not everything, but at least on the trading part. So quick background. Okay, Jesse Lauriston Livermore. He was born in 1877 in a poverty-stricken farming family. Obviously, farming never really got to took a fancy to him, or he didn't take a fancy to it. And at a time when accurate financial statements were rarely published, there were no charts that like we can see today. Okay, even getting a stock quote, which means an end of the day price. Okay, today what happened to a stock? It also required a large operation. It was not freely available, and market manipulation was rampant. Obviously, in the absence of regulation, in the absence of data freely available to retail, market manipulation would be there. It's not the market as we see it today. Okay, this guy used in that time something known as technical analysis. Okay, which traders use even today. That's the basis for my trades as well. And he was profitable using technical analysis in that time with such limited information. That's why I say, I mean, you can, if technical analysis could work then, it can work, and it has been proven. So I have certain strategies that I have created. I've backtested those strategies on US stocks of that time. Okay, works perfectly well. Why? Because human behavior doesn't change. Whether it's the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or 2000s, or 2020, okay, which is last year when the whole crash happened, human behavior doesn't change. So which is what technical analysis is all about. It's about analyzing human behavior to know what's coming next. Okay. And this guy traded on his own funds, using his own system and not trading anyone else's capital, which is why he's considered one of the greatest traders of all time. To go from zero to 1.5 billion, that's crazy. Now, so he liked trading in stocks that were moving in a trend. Okay, and he avoided ranging markets. Ranging means sideways markets. Okay, where markets where there is no clear trend. This is one of the most common characteristics. This is one of the first learnings that you can think of. That he was also in those days also a trend follower. Okay, I'm a trend follower myself. Okay, most successful traders, or maybe I can't say most, but yeah, probably I think it's the most. Uh, it's the most preferred form of trading worldwide. Okay, trend following. Why? Because a trend, once it's in place, okay, I mean, it can give you massive profits. Okay, as long as you know where to enter in a trend. The problem is people don't really, first of all, understand trend. So a trend is basically something that tells you the direction, the general direction of the stock, and it's got nothing to do with today's price movement. Okay, a lot of people say, "Are today the stock went up 20%, so uptrend." No, okay, it could be in a downtrend and still be up 20%. That's the difference. And knowing what constitutes a trend is one of the most important. If you don't understand trends, then again, learn it first before entering. That's going to save you a lot of money and a lot of heartache. Price patterns, which is again something that I personally use and I teach as well, combined with volume analysis. We don't do volume, okay, because volume now is not as significant as it was earlier. It doesn't make as much of a difference. So, and then again, there are two camps. One believes volume is important, one believes it's not. Okay, I tend to be from the latter because I've traded without analyzing volume, and it's worked brilliantly. So I don't feel the need to use it. Price patterns were used to determine if the trade would be kept open. Okay, so if he entered, he would see the patterns and he would then determine, how whether I should still be in the stock or not. Okay, now he was highly successful, but he also lost his fortune several times, usually from not following his own rules. So this is one of the most important things that uh, you could actually get from this presentation, is that even the most successful, one of the, probably I would even say that maybe he had a talent for trading. Okay, even a guy like him could not avoid losing his fortune. Why? Because he broke his own rules. So following the rules is mandatory, irrespective of what type of trading you do or investing you do. Even in investing, there have to be rules for entry, for exit. You cannot just buy something without a stop loss. Okay, and hold it for donkey's years till and see the price fall 90%, for example, which I have seen my friends do. Okay, so my business partner in the solar field, he's still holding on to stocks which he had bought in the 2003 to 7 bull run. Okay, and those stocks are down 90-95% from their peak. Okay, they are never going back there. Okay, each bull market, new favorites come up. Okay, and new leaders come up. So those were leaders, those were stocks from the infra sector, RCom, R Power, whatever, JP Associates. Those were darlings of the market. Right now, you may scoff at them, but in 2003 to 7, they made a lot of money. Okay, for a lot of people. Not for me because I wasn't profitable back then. But yeah, so you have to follow your rules. That's most important. Okay, career. Now, these are some very interesting anecdotes. At the age of 15, he actually bet $5 on a stock at a bucket shop. A bucket shop is basically a type of a bookie that takes a bet on stock prices. Okay, so it's not a stock exchange. It's just कि भाई ये stock इतना ऊपर जाएगा, So what they'll give you, if this stock goes up this much, I'll give you this, this much money. So it's like a bookie, okay, but on the stock market. And he earned $3.12 on the $5 bet. Okay, by the age of 20, he had accumulated $10,000 in trading profits. All right, so from started at 15, in 5 years, he accumulated $10,000. $10,000 in those days, obviously, is a lot of money. Okay, in trading profits, this is 1,000% net return in 3 years of trading. However, he was eventually barred by most of the Boston area bucket shops because of his consistent winning. So, yeah, you know how betting works, right? The house, which is the bucket shop, okay, they give you this facility to bet because they know that you are going to lose most of the time. Now here comes this Joe, okay, who's winning most of the time. So obviously it's going from their pocket. So what will they do? They will ban you or they will bar you. So this is another huge difference between people always, or somewhere I've heard, stock market jua hai, it's a gamble. But it's not, because in gambling, if you're consistently winning money, okay, whoever is offering you, the bet, they will stop the betting house, okay, they will not allow you to bet any further, because their whole business model is based on the fact that those people have to lose. If you and I take a bet or a lottery ticket or whatever, whatever kind of play blackjack, poker, the whole thing is rigged so that uh, the house makes money, not for you. Okay. And using disguises and false names to trade only prolong the inevitable citywide ban. So eventually you will ban across the city. Okay. One second, I'm just going to mute everyone. Yeah. Okay. So at the age of 23, now he had turned this $10,000 into $50,000 in 5 days. Okay. In 5 days. So this cannot happen without taking a lot of leverage. Okay. So I don't recommend people try this. Okay. It can happen once in a while, maybe on a certain trade, maybe in options or whatever, but it's not sustainable. Okay. Especially not for your capital to go up 5 times. That you cannot have your capital go up 5 times without taking undue amount of risk. Okay. In May 1901, he anticipated a correction and went short using 400% margin. So this was another one of his trades which we have to actually uh, not copy and learn from this. That 400% margin, which means 1 rupee. If you have 1 rupee in your account, you can actually trade using positions worth 4 rupees. Okay, that's 400% margin. That's a lot. Okay. So don't do that. I mean, the best traders in the world don't use leverage. So recently there was this whole SEBI, regulation regarding cutting down on excess leverage. So apart from them cutting down the futures leverage intraday, I am okay with whatever they have done. As a professional trader, I anyway don't leverage so much. Okay, most traders would not, because it's a double-edged sword. You can make a lot, you can lose a lot, and we are not here to lose more than we can afford. Okay. And for us, we have to be in the trading game for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. That's more important than making a quick buck. Okay. He lost his entire stake. Has the ticker tape. So the stock quotes, which were obviously not on a computer, but the ticker tape that was there in those times was not updated fast enough to make current trading decisions. So the price that you see on the screen was not even the correct price. It was lagging. So by the time you actually sell, the price is much worse. So, I mean, we live in tremendous times where sitting over here real time, okay, we can trade and we know the exact price of the stock. I mean, that itself, most people don't recognize how easy trading is today compared to what it was. I'm not saying trading is easy, but compared to what it was in the past, it's still significantly easier. Now, his first big win came in 1901 at the age of 24 when he bought in Northern Pacific Railway. He turned $10,000 into $500,000. Okay, now that's also crazy. I mean, it's insane amounts of leverage, I'm sure. And chalo, it would have taken a lot of skill as well. Okay, no doubt. Without, you can take leverage, but without the skill, even the leverage would have only made him zero. In 1906, he took a massive short position in Union Pacific Railroad the day before the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. Now, obviously, this is not insider trading. There's no way that he could know that the earthquake will happen. Okay. And this led to a $250,000 profit. Now, the thing to note over here is that when you trade long enough, okay, you will get these kind of things happening in your favor. Okay. And so I keep getting asked this question a lot. You trade Bank Nifty futures. Okay. Uh, you don't hedge your position. Isn't that risky? I say it is not, because hedging also comes at a cost. Okay. So if you add up the cost over the entire year, okay, that cost is actually significantly more than that occasional time that the market may catch you off guard or against your position. Okay. And most of the times, as a trend follower, the positions, these gaps as they call them, where the market opens significantly higher or lower than the previous day. Okay, most of the times, if you're a good trader, the gaps come in your favor. So now, I'm not saying, obviously it cannot predict, no strategy can predict an earthquake, but if you are in the system long enough, you will get these kind of windfall gains. So like the 2009 elections. Okay, uh, the Indian markets went upper circuit. The entire index went upper circuit 20%. And not once. I think it was 2 days in a row, or something like that. So that's like a huge kind of a win, which you will get in your favor. And these will of course not be frequent, but these kind of massive gains will also come along. So the important point is to stick in the game. Okay, if you are not there, if you're if you've lost your your capital, then you are not there to actually see these amazing returns come in. Now, sometime later, Livermore went long on the stock. Okay. However, his friend and owner of the brokerage house in which he did most of his trading, Edward Hutton, erroneously convinced Livermore to close his position, and he wound up losing $40,000. Okay. Now the problem. Now there are two things to learn actually from here. Okay. The thing is that, so he was short. Okay, and sometime later he went long on the stock. So just because he made massive money on the short side did not prevent him from going long on the stock. Going long means buying. Okay, shorting. How many people here know what shorting is? Quickly, or rather, is there anybody here who does not know what shorting is? Where you can actually sell a stock first before having it in your portfolio and buy it back later. So you can sell something at 100, buy it back at 80, okay, and the 20 rupees is still your profit. That's called shorting. So you make money if the market goes down, but you lose money if the market goes up. Okay, that's called shorting. So he shorted the stock and then he went long on the stock, which is he bought the stock, to sell it at a higher price. So this is very important. As a trader, you cannot be fixated with your opinions or your ego. Okay, you have to be very nimble. So you may be Bank Nifty may be bullish right now, okay, or today, but 3 days later it may be bearish. You better turn with the tide. Okay, you cannot afford to say no. 3 days ago it was so bullish, and I think it will continue to be bullish. No, you change. The market is always right, and the price tells you what to do. Most important. Okay. Also, don't listen to friends. Okay, this guy is the owner of the brokerage house. Okay, in which he did most of his trading, but he also erroneously convinced him to close his position, and he wound up losing $40,000. So and most brokers, by the way, they don't know trading. Okay, very few do. Okay, if they did know trading, then they wouldn't be brokers. All right, so their job is very different. I've listened to brokers long time back. Okay, it's not worked out well. So strictly avoid any. If you don't have the reason for entering or exiting a trade, okay, you shouldn't be entering in the first place. You shouldn't have a position. Never, even if you're part of my WhatsApp groups, don't go long because I've posted some levels. Okay, or if some friend or somebody has given you a tip, okay, that is not the way to make money. Trust me. Okay, in the panic of 1907, Livermore's huge short positions made him $1 million in a single day. So all of this shows you that a lot of money can be made in the markets. Not that you needed any more confirmation or evidence of this, but this just shows you, $1 million in 1907. That's insane. Okay. However, his mentor, JP Morgan, okay, of the JP Morgan Bank, okay, investment bank, who had bailed out the entire New York Stock Exchange during the crash, requested him to refrain from further short selling. So he was on the short side. JP Morgan requested Jesse Livermore that please, stop shorting because this is just going down. We need to avoid, even further losses, or the market going down so much. And to his credit, Livermore agreed. Okay, and instead profited from the rebound, boosting his net worth to 3 million. So again, you're short here, he went long on the stock. He was short here, he made money in that crash. Okay, but when he was requested, he said, okay, TK, fine, I'll close my short position. Then he looked for a long trade. Okay, and he profited from the rebound. So when the shorts had to cover, which is called a short covering rally. Okay, so you can only cover a short by buying something. Okay, so so in a sense, the short sellers actually fuel that rally, because they have to buy to just book their profit, and they are buying because there are so many short sellers, and like Livermore, that itself creates that first rebound, and then from there, whether it takes off or not, you of course need new buyers to come in. Okay, so this is again, a brief of his career. In 1908, he listened to Teddy Price, who told him to buy cotton, while Price secretly sold. So he said, "You buy cotton. Cotton is very good. It's going up." Okay, while he was offloading his own holdings, Price was secretly offloading his own holdings. He went bankrupt, but was able to cover all of his losses subsequently. Now, again, so don't listen to people. You don't know what motives they have. Okay, and they may not even have motives, but they may not know what they're doing. It's easy to say, हाँ ये खरीदे ऊपर जाएगा. How do you know? What's the basis? In 1915 he filed for bankruptcy again. So 1908 went bankrupt. 1915 filed bankruptcy again. This is something that we know that he was obviously making some major mistakes, and these had to do with taking more leverage than was needed. Okay, so that's a lesson that we can take from this, that avoid leverage beyond a point. Okay, there is a sweet spot in leverage where you can take enough leverage to not let it hurt you, okay, and yet be make more on your money than you would if you wouldn't take leverage. So there's a way and there's a skill to do that. Proper risk and money management is required. Okay. Following the end of World War I, Livermore secretly cornered the market in cotton. Okay, so he kind of it was only interception by President Woodrow Wilson that stopped his move. So he was trying to build a huge position in the cotton market, but the president intervened. Imagine, and he told them that, look, we don't want so much of cotton being in one person's hands, because you can manipulate the price if you want. And in fact, in 1924-25, he did engage in market manipulation, making $10 million trading wheat and corn. So again, this is a strict no-no. I mean, we are here in the markets to make money, but we are only here to make money the legal way. Okay, any insider tips, I don't want any insider tips. I don't want any knowledge which will give me profits which I don't deserve. Okay, I will make profits on my own accord. Okay, and on the basis of my skill and knowledge. I don't need anybody's help. Especially illegal means. So this is very important to. Eventually, it all catches up. There is no, you can't hoodwink the universe. You can make some short-term money. Eventually, even somebody as big as a Rajat Gupta in the US, of McKinsey, with all his contacts, Preet Bharara, the US Attorney General, he went after him, rightfully so. Okay, he had shared some tips with this guy called from Sri Lanka, called again a hedge fund manager, Raj Rajaratnam. Okay, Raj Rajaratnam made a lot of money. This guy did not. Okay, but he shared information which was not supposed to be shared with anybody. It's like what happens in a board meeting of companies, for example. Now it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's not supposed to happen. Because you can't make money off information which only you and a few people know. The vast majority of the public does not know. That's illegal and that's unethical. Okay, so that's something that we can learn, that even a great trader can fall prey to greed. This is greed, nothing else. Okay, in early 1929 he amassed huge short positions using more than 100 stockbrokers to hide what he was doing. So this is fine, because he just did not want, when you're shorting huge amount or even buying huge amount of positions, you tend to spread it over many brokers, just so that everybody does not come to know. Even frankly, even if they come to know, it doesn't really matter. Like Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, when he buys huge positions, or when he exits huge positions, everybody comes to know. That goes as part of the news. But that's okay. By the spring, he was down over $6 million on paper. However, in the Wall Street crash of 1929, he netted approximately 100 billion. So, I mean, obviously the position was so huge that just one crash, of course, this crash was massive. And this was not one, this was a crash of probably, a crash which comes once in 40, 50 years. It was that bad. And that led to the Great Depression. I wouldn't say the crash led to the depression, rather, it was just the starting point of the depression, and it's a cycle, right? So crashes happen when depressions are almost upon us. So if things had been fine in the economy, the crash wouldn't have happened. Stock markets don't create crashes don't create the economy creates the rise or the crash. So it's the other way around. His second divorce in 1932, the non-fatal shooting of his son by his wife in 1935, and a lawsuit from his Russian mistress. So again, very poor personal life. Okay, led to a decline in his mental health, while the creation of the U.S. SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, in 1934 imposed new rules that affected his trading. Although it is unknown exactly how it happened, he eventually lost his fortune and filed bankruptcy for the third time. So he didn't learn from any of his earlier mistakes of 1908 or 15, and he became bankrupt a third time in 1934. And just imagine, in 1929 he had made 100 million. In 5 years, if you're losing your entire fortune, you're doing something wrong. You're taking over leverage, and like we discussed earlier, he was breaking his own rules. So when you break rules, a market doesn't care. You could be Jesse Livermore, you could be God's gift to trading. It will be ruthless, and it's not the market's fault, it's your fault. You have a way of making money. Okay, when you try to become too much too quickly, or try to make too much too soon, then obviously these things will happen, which is what we have to guard against. Now, unfortunately, in 1940, at the age of 63, Livermore fatally shot himself in a Manhattan hotel where he usually had cocktails. So this whole personal life being in disarray, I don't think the bankruptcy was so much of an issue as more of a lot of things that were happening in his personal life, because I've read a little bit more about him, and eventually he decided that to commit suicide. It's very sad. And what is strange is his son Jesse Livermore Jr. also committed suicide in 1975, and his grandson also killed himself. I mean, this is like life being stranger than fiction. So God bless their souls. But that was a sad end to what could have been. Actually, if he had just continued and come out of the depression, I'm pretty sure, because you've made money once or twice, thrice, you can easily make it the fourth time. But it's not to be, unfortunately. But he did give a lot of amazing insights, which we will learn about. And he gave a lot of gifts to the trading world, which in fact his unofficial autobiography is actually a trading classic in itself. Okay, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator by Edwin Lefebvre. And I would strongly recommend you guys make a note of this quickly, and go ahead and buy this book. Okay, don't buy the PDF. Buy the book. I firmly believe that any author, anybody who's created something, we should not try to rip them off. By, I know PDFs are available. That's just my personal take on it. And you don't get something which you don't pay for. So try and get the actual. Set very high values for yourself. It can only help. Yes, correct. All right. So yeah. So these are some of the things which he really spoke about. These are some of his classic sayings and quotes. Okay, and these are some things which you really need to try and imbibe. Okay, these are some amazing lessons. I've tried to just take the best of them. There are tons more. So he says, do not be invested in the market all the time. There are times when I've been completely in cash, especially when I was unsure of the direction of the market and waiting for a confirmation of the next move. Second, it is the change in the major trend that hurts most speculators. So there are many times when I've been completely in cash. So when you're not sure, like he says, when I was not sure of the direction of the market, it's okay to just exit. Not taking a position is also taking a position, and that's completely fine. So he says, don't be invested in the market all the time. Don't be, a compulsive trader. Okay, I mean, you're here to make money, and you're here to make money only when the odds are in your favor. You don't get any. I keep saying this, right? You don't get any extra money for trading the difficult markets or the difficult stocks. Why do you want to make money where the chart is all over the place? There is no clear trend. Why do you want to make money? Okay, you are not getting any extra money. Okay, and second, the change in the major trend is what hurts most speculators. So it's very important to know the trend. How will you know the trend? That's something that has to be learned. Instead of hoping, he must fear. Instead of fearing, he must hope. He must fear that his loss must develop into a much bigger loss, and hope that his profit may become a big profit. Now, what do most people do? They hope that their loss will actually recover into a profit, okay? And they fear that their profit will evaporate, and so they exit early. Do you understand? So the retail guy does exactly the opposite of what he's saying, okay? Exactly the opposite of what I do, all right? And most traders would do this. So the loss, when it is small, you must always know that it can develop into a much bigger loss. So recently I exited Adani Total Gas in one of my client accounts at a profit of 255% in about since February. So that's what, about 4 months. Uh, Now, as per my system, the exit was not triggered, but I exited because of a money management rule. Okay, it had hit a lower circuit, and the circuit was 5%, and that was too uncomfortable for me. I'm like, I cannot be in a stock where I can be stuck. And good enough, and good that I exited, because I exited on the first day of the circuit, and since that time the stock has lost another 20%. So you must get out of your loss while you can. Your small loss should not turn into a big loss, and you must hope that your profit may become a big profit. Most people get out at a 10% profit, okay, or a 15% profit. Very rarely will they even wait till a 20-30% profit. They cannot envisage 100% profit. 100% profit, to like, it's like a mirage for them. But you have to, and remember, now, how many people here want, multi-bagger stocks that go up from 10 rupees, or let's say 100 rupees to 1,000 rupees, in a few years? How many people would love that? Quickly type I in the chat box, just so that I know that. Quickly. Yeah. Okay. Great. So everybody wants a multi-bagger stock, but for a stock to go from 100 to 1,000, it has to cross 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and only then it can go to 1,000, right? And in all this time, is it going to be a one-way street? No. So everybody wants a stock which goes from 100 to 1,000. How many will not sell the minute it doubles or triples, or whatever is the mental limitation that is inbuilt, कि भाई बस हो गया, I can't handle any more profit? As weird as that sounds, a lot of people cannot handle it, especially when you don't really know when to exit. Okay, so that's most important, that if get out of your losses as quickly as possible. Okay, and make sure that you have a system in place which allows you to to ride the journey from 100 to 1,000, or whatever it could be, or even if it takes you out, let's say stock can go from 100 to 1,000 and you may get out at 800. You would have lost the last 200 rupees, and you may think, अरे ये 200 रुपये हाथ से नहीं गया. That is what allowed you to actually take it from 100 to 800, whatever that strategy was, a trailing stop loss strategy that you may follow. Okay, and you always will leave some money on the table, so that's completely okay. One second. Yeah, okay. So related to that, he says, a loss never bothers me after I take it. I forget it overnight. But being wrong, which is not taking the loss. So when the market is close to hitting your stop loss, it means that your trade rationale has been proven wrong. It may not be wrong, forever. So the market can always reverse. But for the short term, the market has proven you wrong. Because when you buy, you're expecting other buyers to come in and for the price to go higher. Okay. If not, you wouldn't be buying, right? So when you have bought and the price, instead of going up, is going down, the market has proven you wrong on that trade. And this is what people don't like to admit, or accept, that okay, I went wrong, let me just cut my loss, okay, while the loss is small. This is what people don't do, and that is what does damage to the pocketbook and to the soul. Because once that, let's say the loss is 6% or 7%, whatever it is, okay, and that, if you don't cut it at 7%, it can easily become 10%, 12%, 15%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. If it becomes 50%, now it's become a long-term investment. Okay, you have forgotten about it, you have probably given up on the stock markets also. Okay, because that first the journey from 100 to 70, okay, would have killed you. After that, you've just lost hope, so it doesn't bother you anymore. You're like, nahin, now it's a long-term investment. Kabhi na kabhi upar jayega. Doesn't work that. Okay, that's what really damages your psychology. Okay, so I think it was a long step forward in my trading education when I realized at last that when old Mr. Partridge kept on telling other customers, well, this is a bull market. He really meant to tell them that the big money was not in the individual fluctuations, but in the main movements. That is not in reading the tape. Reading the tape is a short-term form of trading, where you buy something and you sell it, a few minutes later. Intraday trading is a form of reading the tape. Okay, but in sizing up the entire market and its trend. So he says the main money is not in the small fluctuations, the reading the tape, which is what the retail thinks. Okay, but in sizing up the entire market and its trend. So once you know that this is a trending market, you don't get out at 5-10% profits. You give it the chance, because this is not a 5-10% move. Okay, I mean, currently the market that we are in a tremendous bull market. Okay, the index may be sideways for the last couple of months, doesn't matter. I mean, there have been stocks, like I said, Adani Total Gas is just one example. I will share with you, I will show you rather, my Excel sheet of the performance of the stocks on the free WhatsApp group that I have put before the stocks actually, hit those levels. And there are insane amount of stocks which have done tremendously well. Okay, and it's important, but if you don't know, you might think that this is just any other market. And frankly speaking, we are not really, I mean, so I don't like a crystal ball gaze, but the mother of all bull markets could actually not even be upon us yet. So there could be because this is not a euphoric market yet, although in individual stocks, yes, but on the index it is not. And a bull market is actually defined by massive euphoria in the index, which has not happened. So till that happens, we are still okay. But that does not mean the market cannot fall, but it's just that we are not frothy yet. After spending many years in Wall Street and after making and losing millions of dollars, I want to tell you this. It never was my thinking that made the big money for me. It was always my sitting. Got that? My sitting tight, which means once he was in a winning position, okay, the big money was made by just sitting tight. So there is a, there's a term for this which I learned, some maybe 10 years back. It's called sitting on hands. So in a good trade, you sit on your hands so that, the hands cannot, punch in the exit, trade or whatever, get out of the position. So there are times when you have to sit on your hands and just let the market do what it is doing for you, which is making you a lot of money. And the last few months, in fact, even since last year, actually, since probably, so March is when actually that rebound started. But since May or so of last year, stocks have been doing crazy moves. Okay, and if you don't know what you're doing, then you're probably missed out already. So but yeah, knowledge is important. Without that, you wouldn't really. But so it's most important to actually just sit tight sometimes, okay, and not fiddle, okay, not try and overthink or be over smart. Don't try and outsmart the market. People think, "Arey, I've made 20% quickly. Now let me get out of this stock, okay, and try and find the next stock which is going to make 20%." How do you know? I mean, this Adani gas, it gave me 255% return with a peak of 330%. So at its peak, highest price, it was 330% up. But this whole, this what happened with the NSDL and all of that on Monday, lost some profit, but that's okay. Even I'm willing to let go of certain, 255% on one single trade, good enough. Okay. To anticipate the market is to gamble. To be patient and react only when the market gives the signal is to speculate. And what we are here, this business is about successful speculation. It is not about gambling. Unfortunately, most people try to anticipate or guess or they try to guess what the market is going to do, predict. Okay, our job is not prediction. Yes, of course, there is a certain amount of anticipation because you anticipate prices to go up, but it is not the basis. It is to be patient and react only when the market gives the signal. So when the market gives you a signal to enter a trade is what you do. Okay, and then what happens later on is out of your hands. That is called speculation, that is called trading. Okay, to say कि नहीं नहीं यहाँ से तो बहुत ऊपर जाएगा, you know, stock will go up tremendously from here, and you know अभी तो right now तो I mean the move has just started or whatever. That is not called trading. Okay, you have to wait for your system to give you the signal, and that is when you enter. It isn't as important to buy as cheap as possible as it is to buy at the right time. Now, I couldn't agree with this more. In fact, one classic thing and my style of trading is actually not to buy low and sell high, which is what most people think is the only way to make money. Frankly, I don't even know how many people even using that make money by buying low and selling high. I always like to buy high and sell higher. So I am buying and selling momentum. Okay. And so what I am trying to do is I'm trying to buy at the right time, because see, the price is actually immaterial for me. A stock could be 1,000, it could be 5,000, it could be 10,000. It doesn't matter. What matters is when you buy it at 5,000, is it going to go in your favor? That is what matters. Can you buy something at 5,000 and exit at 6,000, 7,000, 10,000? Okay. Can you, when the same stock becomes, let's say 15,000, okay, you have exited, you bought at 5,000, you exited at, let's say 9,000. All right. After that, the stock is now at 12,000, for example. Okay, it doesn't matter whether if you're buying it at 12,000 when you're exited at 9,000. It doesn't matter, because what you're now trying to do is you're trying to buy the move from 12,000 to hopefully 15,000, 17,000, 20,000, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just a percentage move. Okay. Too many people get fixated with this idea of, sasta kharidna hai. Arey boss, there is no, you're trying to catch a falling knife. It's not going to be in your favor. Most of the time when you're trying to buy cheap, which is trying to buy those penny stocks, 50 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees. Okay. Those are in long-term structural downtrends. They are not going up anytime soon. So you may have bought cheap, or what you think is cheap. Okay. But you have not bought at the right time. And if you don't buy at the right time, this is most important, because you can buy something at, let's say, 20 rupees also. Okay. After that, if it spends the next 3 years below 20 rupees, okay, and then 3 years later it comes to 20 rupees. Okay, it went to, let's say in those 3 years it went to 10 rupees, so your money became half. Now it came back again to 20 rupees. What do you think is going to happen? You are going to exit, because 3 years it has wasted your time and money and done nothing. The first time it comes to 20, you would exit. After 20, let's say it goes to 2,000. Did you make money in that? No. Why? Because you bought at the wrong time. If you bought at the wrong time, you know you will not be there to take advantage of the stock, and then again you will chase it when probably it's on its way down. So that's typically how investor psychology works. Now, a man must believe in himself and his judgment if he expects to make a living at this game. That is why I don't believe in tips. I don't believe in tips either. Okay. And so if you must really know yourself and your judgment. So when he says judgment, your reason for entering the trade. Okay. If you expect to make a consistent profit out of trading. So Rakesh Jhunjhunwala famously says, right, money cannot be made on borrowed knowledge. So what he means is, just because I am buying something, okay, there are plenty of people who actually try to mirror his, his buys. He himself says, please don't copy my trades, because I may get out. Okay, I may make a loss here and there, but I already have, I have a trading portfolio. So he's a big time trader also. Not many people are aware of this, but he's a big time trader also. In fact, he trades, so he has a separate trading desk. The profits from the trading he puts into investments. Okay, and of course the guy's mental acumen is of a different level altogether. Okay, so he says, he himself says, don't don't just blindly buy what I'm doing, because I'm not going to be there, to check on you after 6 months, and I may have invested only 2% of my corpus. You may have invested 100% of it. Okay. So I still have 98% powder dry, as they call it, So tomorrow if the market falls, I will buy hook, line and sinker. It doesn't matter what price I bought the 2% at, because if I buy 50% at, let's say, when the markets are down 30-40%, my average holding price is different. So don't believe in tips. Anybody gives you, a tip, then just run away, or yeah, I mean, so in trading parlance is a, famous this thing: if you want tips, become a waiter, but don't come to the stock market. You can't make money. So the pockets change, the suckers change, the stocks change, but Wall Street never changes because human nature never changes. So I alluded to this earlier, that human behavior is still the same. So which is why the strategies that worked in the 1920s still work today, and they will continue working. Okay, because the people who put in the money, that can change. The new people who came in and who lost their money, the suckers as they call them, okay, they will change. The stocks will change. What is a good stock? Unitech was actually one of, it's a penny stock right now. I don't even know whether it's still listed, but it was one of the darlings of the bull market 2003 to 7. And in fact, there was a story that ran of how Unitech has created, like 10,000 rupees invested in Unitech became 1.2 crores in, I think, 2 years time or something like that. Fact, maybe much more. I may be understating it. And then that became zero also, or close to zero. So the stocks will keep on changing, but Wall Street never changes. So you can go to a casino, okay, you can lose all your money. There can be 100 people coming to a casino and losing all their money, okay, and it will continue, okay, but the casino doesn't shut down, okay, because the casino is there, the odds are in their favor, and successful traders generally, they will also stay, they will also stick around because they have figured it out. Most people are just trying to wing it, as they say, just trying to ho jayega yaar, kaise to bhi ho jayega, it doesn't work that way. Okay, and so this is something that I always love to share at the end of a presentation. So whatever you're seeing in the markets, all of those possibilities are there, okay, but you don't get a job and get paid as a brain surgeon and then go to school. First, you invest in yourself and your education. Trading is no different. The knowledge is what gets you the money, not the other way around. And you can start that education today. So basically, what he's saying is Mark Minervini is one of the most successful hedge fund managers in the world. And he says the way you don't get a job first and get paid as a brain surgeon and then go to school. But in trading, that's exactly what people want to do. They want to come in here, okay, be successful, and then they will spend money for courses, or they will spend money for to learn and invest, to learn from somebody. Doesn't happen that way. You have to actually, you go to school for so many years, then to college. You don't expect to be paid a huge sum, right? That you go and do a professional MBA or whatever, and after that you start somewhere. Even there, you don't call yourself an expert. But in trading, unfortunately, it works differently. People just, they've opened a demat account, and they think that the market owes them success. It doesn't work that way. So guys, basically that was what the seminar was all about. I'm going to share with you now. So I run some free WhatsApp groups. Okay, some of you are already part of those WhatsApp groups. I'm just going to share some performance of the calls that I put in those WhatsApp groups. That is not to kind of I mean, I don't make anything in the WhatsApp group. It's a free group. You can join, not join. That's totally your call. But just to give you an idea of what are the possibilities. Okay, what are the possibilities if you actually trade well? Okay, and these are all calls that I've actually posted apart from this Adani Green, which is on another group. But all these trades are actually posted on my JR Breakout Stocks WhatsApp group. Okay, there are about 170 odd people on that group. There's a new group which I started a few months back that has got about 70-80 people on there. And these same calls are posted, I think, maybe from Jan. I think they're posted in both the groups. Earlier, there was only one group. So most people who are part of that group, they can actually go to these dates and see what was recommended. So this was Adani Green, which was recommended on 29th of July. This is the entry price, okay, and the entry trigger happened on 7th of August. Okay, high after that date, okay, and the time period. So it went to, entry triggered was 355, and the high was on 24th November of 1220. Okay, so which is a 261% gain. You had Timken 35%, EI Industries 24%. These are all levels that I have given before the stock has hit those levels. Okay, so it's not in hindsight. People who are part of the WhatsApp group can go and check this themselves. Then there was a stop loss as well, 5% loss. Jubilant 49%. Ipca Lab 17%, Dixon Technologies 108%, India Mart 104%, Tamla 200%, Route Mobile 110%. We are still trading Route. In fact, currently we are in positions after this exit also. So Hindalco 35%, Tata Consumer 28%, IRCTC 34%, Weber Global 51%. So this is updated as of 12th February. I have not done any calculations after that. I've been busy with delivering courses and stuff like that. So graphite, so this was 119%. This is actually crossed 300%. HEG is also crossed 300%. Graphite is now close to 1,000. First recommended at 2,205. HEG at 788. I think currently HEG would be at 2,400 if I remember correctly. So this is actually 300%, and this is actually 200% or 250% thereabouts. Happiest Minds, again, this has gone up tremendously. So it was recommended at 330, and right now it is close to 1,000. So this is not 27%. Like I said, these figures are outdated. I probably need to relook at them. And still we are in the trade. There are students of mine who have joined in the March batch and who have taken not this trade. They've entered after a particular level, probably at around 560 odd, if I remember correctly, and they're still holding it till 1,000. VRL Logistics. So stop losses. See, the ones in red are stop losses. So it's not as if it's a one-way street. It can never be a one-way street. If people tell you I have 80% accuracy and all of that, run away from that. There is no. I have yet to meet a single trader worth his salt, okay, who can do 80% accuracy. And frankly, 80% accuracy is not needed. And it always comes at the cost of something. 80% accuracy means you're risking 1 rupee to make 1 rupee. That's generally what it is. Because only when you exit quickly and don't allow the stock to turn against you, can you have 80% accuracy. But even that, frankly, I have not seen any genuine cases. So if anybody claims, please run away. Praj Industries 70%, L&T 47%. So most of these actually would be significantly higher because I mean this is of Feb. We are in June right now. Signed, but as of Feb, this is what the calls had done. And in what? This is the time period taken. So 3 months, 4 months, 3 months, 1 month, 2 months. Okay, 27%, 70% in 2.5 months, 47% in 2 months, and then a string of stop losses. That's also fine. I mean, you have to, when you take so much money, you have to give something back also. That's how life works. It's never a one-way street. You can't be a business where you make profits on each and every transaction. It doesn't work that way. You will have certain losses. You will have employees stealing some money. You will have probably some unexpected some supplier or some customer who had to pay you some money who defaults. Those things are going to happen. So you're going to make losses. But overall, the idea is to make a net profit. Okay, Relaxo 22%, JK Cement 47%, SBI Card, blah blah blah. There's Amber 34%. Again, this is also very old. And whatever is blank is not yet triggered. So basically the trigger has not happened. And all of these levels I put, why? I mean, not for you to actually trade those levels, but for you to just see. Okay, even getting some confidence that I'm not able to do it, but somebody is able to do it. Okay, will build something in you and will build some confidence in you for you to take the next step. Whether you learn from me or anybody else, doesn't matter. Just go ahead and learn, take the step, and everybody can do it. I can tell you, okay, from my experience. So this total is 2000%, a total of all of these. Okay, and so even if you assume, like I said, you can't capture this entire 2000% because this is the max high. So even if you captured, let's say 70% of this rise of 2000, that's 1400%. That's not portfolio level return. That's just on a particular stock. So let's say if your position size was 50,000, so that is 1400% on 50,000. So whatever that figure could be, I think it'll be close to what I think 5, maybe 7.5, maybe 8 lakhs, something like that. Okay, and R multiple. So for each risk, each stop loss. So one stop loss hit is 1 R gone. Okay, that's risk to reward multiple. Okay, so this money that you make equals to 277 stop losses. So which means the next 277 trades of yours can hit the stop loss if you have achieved this performance. Okay, and you would still be at break even. And that is what trading is about. It is not about percentage return. it is about getting these R's. How many R's are you able to generate, or your system is able to generate? And the more the number of R's, the better it is. And that's what it is, because you just have to keep taking more and more. Eventually the mathematical odds of you losing money, because if I'm risking 5% to make 50%, for example, or 20%, I'm risking 1 to make 10, or I'm risking 1 to make 4. So every time I risk that, my risk remains the same, but my reward can be anything, and if you get something like this. So Adani Total Gas is not even in the equation, because the trade was taken in February. Okay, and this is there only till 12th of February, or it is there. So 415, not yet triggered. Classic. Okay. So 9th of Feb, I had given Adani Total Gas at entry level of 415. At that time, the price was 383, but not yet triggered. After that, it did trigger. The stop loss was never hit. You can check these levels in the charts. Okay. And exited at 255% profit. So whatever that level would be, just a few days back. And basically, yeah, this is what is possible. Okay, now how is this possible? If anybody would be interested, then I can spend about maybe 5-10 minutes explaining what the course is about, which is where I teach actually how I arrived at these levels and how you can also arrive at these levels on your own. Okay, most of my students are able to independently trade now. Okay, and in fact, there are some students who have recovered a hell of a lot of money. There's one brilliant student of mine who's actually managed to recover 20 times his investment. And the course is just the 3 months just got over. So so how many people would be interested? Quickly, if I share, if I take 5-10 minutes, and then we'll go to questions after that. I'm just going to put yeah, okay. So I'm just going to quickly share with you what the course is all about. Okay, the course is actually happening. It's called the Power of Breakout. So I believe I'm a breakout trader. Okay, so I believe in breakouts, which is entering at the right time. What Jesse Livermore spoke about, just when the move is about to happen. Okay, and you already know enough about me. So what I did right in the market. So this is something that we have not actually discussed. But I actually, so what I did wrong, let's look into that. I actually jumped into trading with no knowledge. Okay. I relied on TV and other experts for trading calls. I've been there, done that. Okay. 2006 to 2008, 9. Okay. I actually did that. I've taken call services of a lot of experts that you see on TV, paid good money for. In 2006, I think we paid, I and a friend of mine, we paid like 36,000 for 6 months. Okay. Of a big time, person who still comes on CNBC. I wouldn't like to name him, but but it didn't really make money for him. Why? Because knowledge was borrowed. Okay, there's no conviction in trading anybody else's calls. Okay, even if he's a profitable trader, I wouldn't know, because I just have to see a loss of 5-7% in my portfolio for me to stop trusting his calls. Okay, how many people have can relate to that? It happens, right? All right, guys, just be very yeah, okay. So I was actually undercapitalized to even start trading. So, and most traders would not like to admit it, but in hindsight, I was undercapitalized. I had no business to actually even be in trading, very, very small capital. And see, it's called the capital markets for a reason. You need capital to actually come into this business, in any business for that matter. If I want to start, let's say something as, small as a vada pav stall also. Okay. I need probably a 2 to 3 lakh investment. Without that, I can't start it. If I have 10,000 rupees, I'm always going to struggle. I did not do any courses for a long period of time, thinking that they were expensive. So unfortunately, this was my limiting belief. Okay. Yes, I was financially limited also at that time. So I was putting most of my money in my business. Okay. I think I could easily have removed the money if I wanted. Okay. But it's just that I was like, kaun dalega paisa? Not realizing that I actually lost significantly more amount of money not doing these courses, because the market will take this money from you in the form of losses anyway. It's just that you don't realize it at that time and you don't make the connection. I never made the connection. till 2011, which is when I did my first course, which was 33,000 at that time. I lost significantly. Today, even at this successful level, whatever success I've achieved, I still continue doing courses. Just last year, I did a course which was worth 3.5 lakhs. But that's okay. I mean, you have to constantly. Doctors go to seminars which are in the US. They fly down to learn. Why? Because the more they know, the more they can charge their customer. The more I know as a trader, the better I become. Okay, the more I can. I mean, this is one business where the sky is the limit. I mean, you can make as much money as you think you can make. There is no limitation as such. And but it's all about skill. So get the skill, get the knowledge, and learn and then earn. Now I lost significantly more in losses, as I said, as well as the time loss. The biggest, I mean, if I have a regret, the only regret I have is I lost a lot of time in actually becoming profitable. So I've been profitable since 2017, okay, which is 4 odd years. But what I know now, had I known in 2005, okay, 2005 to 2007 bull market, 2008 bear market, I could have made a killing. And forget making a killing, just so I'm 41 right now. If I had been, if I had known then what I know now, when I was in my 20s, late 20s, say early 30s also, I mean, it would have saved me so much of, in 5-10 years. I mean, I would have been in a position to be able to just retire also if I wanted. I love trading. I am not going to retire. I may choose passive forms of trading, but I'm not going to retire anytime soon from trading. But that's just I mean, money gives you options. That's all. And what I did right, I actually started learning from other people from 2011 onwards, and a lot of back testing. Okay, I stuck to a style that worked for me. So every person is different. Every individual psychology is different. Your style is what will work for you. I can teach you everything. You will still tweak it a little bit, and I strongly encourage people to do that as well. Okay, most of my students, they are now understanding their own psychology, and they are understanding what they need to do, and how they can tweak the system which I've already given them. Okay, made constant efforts to reduce and manage risk and stop chasing only returns. So returns are chased actually by amateurs. Okay, people who don't know enough. When you become a professional, okay, you try and reduce and manage risk, because now your capital is significant. When you have 1-2 lakhs capital, yeah, you can chase returns, that's fine. Because 2 lakh gaya bhi to kya jayega? What are you going to lose? You're only going to lose 2 lakhs. But when that capital becomes huge, okay, whatever that huge number is for people, okay, and when so in my case, I trade other people's accounts as well, close family and friends. So that's a lot of capital. Okay, so then you need to manage risk, and of course returns are still there because you are a profitable trader, so returns to banenge. But how to make the best returns with the lowest risk, then that becomes your focus. And by this time, you know as well what to do, how to do it. From outside, as a newbie, you're not aware. So you keep risk fixed and small. So this is what I did right. So when I trade, I keep risk fixed and small, and reward variable and unlimited. Okay. So risk mein jayega, my stop losses are small and they're fixed. Jayega to itna hi jayega. But when I get, okay, I keep the upside open. Most retail guys do the opposite. They keep the upside fixed. So they will get out at a random figure of 10% profit or whatever. And if it goes against them, they will wait. They will hold on. It becomes a long-term investment for them. That's not the way. I will cut my loss. Even a doctor, he doesn't want to, but he amputates, a leg or a hand of a patient. Why? Because he doesn't want the patient to die. Okay, you amputate, you cut your losses because you don't want your trading capital to ever be at risk. Profits, so you can make in 100 stocks. I'm least bothered about that, because that is what I'm confident about. But when it comes to exit, I want to exit. If a stock, suddenly, like there were 2 stocks in my portfolio, in my investors portfolio, Deepak Fertilizers, and there's another stock as well, HGS. They were both shifted to trade category, okay, with a 5% lower surge. I immediately exited those. Why? Because I don't want to be caught out. I don't want to be stuck trying to exit a stock. I made anyway 100% return. Deepak Fertilizers is more than 180% return, I think. And the other one also some 90, HGS was 90, 100% return. I got out. Even though I know that they can probably, go up even higher from here. But no, when it comes to my exit, I want to be prudent. Follow the trend, stop searching for the holy grail. So there is no holy grail, ladies and gentlemen. The only holy grail is a strategy with an edge, okay, which means that if you trade the strategy for, let's say, 50 trades or 100 trades, not one or two trades, this is again a novice mistake where people think that every trade needs to be right. No, there is no way. So when I take a trade, I don't know what is going to happen to that trade. It may hit a stop loss, it may hit, it may go in my favor, whatever. And percentage, I don't know. When I entered Adani Gas, I did not know it was going to give me 255% profit. Okay, but you don't need to know. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All you need to know is how to have a system with an edge, which is a system where if you take 50 trades, a good number of them will be profitable, and they will be profitable by an X number, which will be, you know, this X number when you do your back test. Okay, so you have data. Okay, you're not guessing कि क्या होने वाला है. Okay, you are following data. You know this has happened in the past. If I do this now, in the future, this will be the past. Okay, and that's what you got to do. You have to be very cutthroat about it. So what is our concept? Okay, so my concept is timeless and eternal. This strategy and what I'm going to teach, it works on all instruments, stocks, commodities, forex, cryptocurrencies. I've advised people on Bitcoin as well. Some close friends who own massive positions in Bitcoin. All time frames. Okay, swing, positional, investment, intraday. Yes, even intraday. I don't do intraday personally, but if you want to do it, then it works even on that. Okay, has worked since markets began and likely to work till markets exist. Why? Because it's all based on human behavior. Okay, human behavior doesn't change. Okay, people don't change, and especially they don't change in a hurry. Why enroll? You enter only the strongest stocks. You know beforehand where to enter and where to exit. Most important. Okay, so where to enter, where to exit is what trading is all about at the end of the day. If you'd like to learn a systematic way of analyzing stocks on your own, so not depend on your broker, not depend on your friend who he knows a lot about the stock markets. Everybody's got a friend or two, like those working in financial markets. Even they don't know. If they knew, they would actually stop their job or whatever they're doing and focus on this full time, because the potential is that big. It's when you don't know the potential that you think this course is expensive, or this isme kya hai, kuch nahi, stock markets, it's all such. You don't know the potential. You don't know the way to actually do it. But if you knew what I knew, I mean, you wouldn't be able to sleep for the next 1 week. You would be hounding me. If a stock is going down continuously, your entry will not be triggered, so you don't end up catching falling knives. So when I give you these levels, they're all levels. So it may be a level like, let's say, this stock, X stock looks good, above. So for example, if we see over here, so entry price 355, current market price at that time 338. So which means at the time that I gave this recommendation to enter about 355, or that the stock looks good about 355, the stock price was 338. So it gives you ample time. So only about 355 do you buy. So from 355, if it becomes zero, okay, your entry never got triggered. Okay, because your current market price is lower than the entry price. Your entry price is higher. So that is what the system does. It prevents you from catching these falling knives. Who can attend? It's for anyone and everyone. Okay? All you need to have is an interest in the markets. Okay, you can be an active trader with high time availability. Okay, like myself, or you can be a passive trader or investor with limited time availability. So what is limited time availability? Okay, you don't need to be in front of the screen from 9:15 to 3:30. You can, if you have, let's say, 1 hour a day to analyze stocks after market hours, after 3:30, and 5 minutes to actually place an order, either during market hours, or even you can place it after market hours also. That's fine. So you need 1 hour a day. If you don't have 1 hour a day, then you need 2 hours a week. Okay, so you will not be analyzing the markets every day. You will be analyzing the markets only after Friday 3:30 p.m., which is when the market shut. From Friday 3:30 p.m. to Monday 9:15 a.m. In between this, you need to find 2 hours. Okay, that's it. Either of these, if you have, you can trade and passively invest or trade in the markets, where all your orders can also be placed during off market hours. Okay, and when the markets open, those orders will straight away go in, and if that level is hit, you will be in a trade, and if that level is hit, you will also, your stop loss will also be placed, and you can place a target also. Although I don't believe in targets as such. In fact, Rakesh Jinduna himself says, what are targets? I've never understood what are targets. Who is there to determine a target? There is no target. A stock like Eicher Motors has gone from 17 rupees to 35,000, and now it is it has been split from a 10 rupee face value to a 2 rupee face value and all of that, so the price has come down. But otherwise, a stock like MRF is at what, 67,000 or 70,000, something like that. I'm not tracking MRF, but I mean, it's at 70,000. So what are targets? What target could you have kept in MRF if you had bought it at 100? What would be your wildest target? Your wildest target would be 10,000 maybe. It had also, if you really knew what stocks are capable of, but it's done 70,000. Anyone who would like to become a successful and profitable trader or investor, that's all. The course is designed for anybody and everybody. Okay, it will take you from zero, okay, or whatever level you are at. We've had people who have varying levels of experience. Somebody who's absolutely raw. In fact, I mean, we've got some very glowing testimonials which I will share with you, which can actually tell you what people make of this course, not me. What will you learn? Why to enter, trade rationale, when to enter, timing the market. So when people say you can't time the market, it means they can't time the market. All traders, all professional traders, including me, we live on timing the market. If we couldn't time the market, we would not exist. We would not be profitable because we are short-term traders. Okay, so our whole basis is and our whole thinking is different, and it all depends on who you speak to. So if you speak to a long-term investor, he may say, I can't time the market, because from a long-term perspective, maybe he can't. Okay, but using technical analysis tools, we can time the market, not to an absolute certainty on each and every trade, but on enough times with probabilities in our favor. Okay, so over 50 trades, yes, we can time the market. Over every trade, no, because I don't really know. On one single trade, it can hit the stop loss. Which stocks to enter? The ones with the highest potential. How much to buy? Money management. What should be my stop loss? Which is risk management. When to exit? Profit. Pros and cons of entry and exit method. So I'm going to teach you a buffet. Okay, it's up to you. You can take a pick, or if you want to ask me, I will advise you also, because this is what you should do as per your psychology. Ensure minimal losses. So survivability in the long run. Everything is based on survivability. If you don't survive, you can't thrive. Okay, to hit a 6, you have to stay at the wicket. Okay, if you get out, you can't hit a 6. Okay, so my focus is on that. Practice in real time. So I also give you access to premium charts, for 2 months. Okay, and so what is the product all about? It's basically Power of Breakouts. It's a 45-hour course spread over 2 months. Okay, I mean, I know that for me it would be very simple to actually give you this spread over 2 weekends. Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. But that's too much information over too short a period of time for you to absorb. Ideal for me, because in 2 weekends I am free, but it's not good for you. Okay, which is why I've decided, okay, let it be long. It's the better way to actually drill concepts into you. Best suited for traders and investors, this we have gone through. Okay, people who don't believe in reinventing the wheel. Prerequisites, none. So what is the course all about? How is it delivered? 30 plus hours of content is spread across 14 webinars over 2 months. So I'm going to give you some pre-recorded content. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 videos a week to go through. Okay, and once you've gone through those videos, the following Sunday, okay, we will have a live Q&A webinar where I will be there, where I will address all your queries on those topics itself. Okay, so the content itself will explain to you. In case something gets missed out or you misunderstand something, we're going to have 15 more hours. So 30 hours of content and 15. Now you might say this is very lopsided. 30 hours of content, you don't need actually 15 hours of Q&A, but I'm keeping it 15 hours because, so that's like, half of this content itself, what what content you will be going through. But I believe that the Q&A and the constant mentoring is where you learn, and we also provide this content in the form of videos and supported by PDFs. So all of the 30 hours is in the form of videos where I'll be speaking, and it also has a PDF, document for each and every session. Okay, so for 8 or 9 sessions, you have PDF content. Okay, which is what presentations you can go through. Okay, and where you can revisit those concepts anytime. And all of these concepts are explained with real life examples from my own trading. Okay, so I'm not one of those theoretical traders, okay, who will teach you everything in hindsight. See, technical analysis is very easy um, to actually teach people, okay, in hindsight, even if you don't trade. Okay, and this industry is filled with people who actually don't trade. Their main business and their main job is actually training, selling their training courses. For me, I've actually been a trader first. I've only recently started training because I realized that there is a larger purpose in life. Okay, trading is a lonely profession at the end of the day. Okay, you can make your own money and all of that. Every year, your IT return is significantly better than the previous year. Money stops having its relevance beyond the point. Okay, you will know this when you get to that stage. Okay, um, but yeah, when I started off, I was like, if I can just make 20-25% per annum, that would be great. God, please help me. But now I make more than that. But the point is that money is not your only, it stopped being a motivating factor for me, because I know that ठीक है, ये तो बढ़ता जाएगा. But at the end of the day, how am I making a difference? So unfortunately, one of my friends passed away last year in a very freak accident. His name is Bruce Dipena. Um, One of the most intelligent, humble, down-to-earth guys that I've met. And he was actually waiting for for a laptop, for his laptop, to take his laptop from the repair shop, and several other people also waiting with him. And of all things, a 3-story building adjoining fell down on him. I mean, he was the only person to die in that accident. I mean, really unfortunate. And it actually got me thinking. I actually fast forwarded myself to my deathbed, whenever that is. And I thought to myself, okay, if, when it's time for me to go, what will I have created, which I can look back and say, okay, yes, okay, chalo, I contributed to society in some way. And just trading and making money for myself did not sound very appealing. I was like, what else can I do? Like, okay, but in the same line of my experience and expertise, I was like, okay, I can teach people. Okay, I can help other people to become financially free. And I can help them to avoid a lot of these mistakes. So that is why I actually started, was this WhatsApp group which began. And I mean, all the people in who I've taught, I actually don't know them, that we have never met face to face, but the people in my course, most of the people in my course, 80% of them. Yeah, I mean, now the relationship is like, it's amazing. I can't describe it, to be very honest. So anyway, quickly going through this because we're running short of time. So content is provided in form of videos, supported by PDFs, proprietary trading strategies. So I give you my own trading strategies through which I have become successful, and become a 13-time winner of the 0-60-day challenge, and how you can do the same. Okay, it's not going to happen overnight. Okay, I'm not selling you something which is unbelievable. It's going to require your time and effort as well. And since that is what is, I know what I'm going to teach, but I don't know what is going to be your level of involvement and commitment. But if you involve yourself and commit yourself, trust me, I will be there, and my students can vouch for it, in all support. And one of the most important ways I actually give support is 2 months of WhatsApp group support and hand holding. So here I will entertain all your queries. So I have been part of, I've done courses where WhatsApp group support, 1 month WhatsApp group support, most people give these days, and the trainer is least bothered. Okay, and nobody really answers. There's nothing happening on those WhatsApp group supports. The WhatsApp group support of my first course, I mean, it's insane. I mean, the kind of questions that have come about, and credit to the students, they've really kept me on my toes, and I have, happy to say, I am, hopefully they feel the same way. I know they've said it, but I hope all of them feel the same way. And they've been very happy that I've gone out of my way, and that's what I believe, that trading cannot be, it's not so easy that, you just do a weekend course and, you be done with it. It's how to apply those strategies in real time, which is what the clincher is. And you get recordings of all the above sessions. So of all of these things, the content and the live Q&A and the 2 months of WhatsApp, I can't tell you, this may seem very small, but I'll tell you, a lot of your learning will happen over here. A lot of your learning. Okay, proprietary trading strategies, unique risk management strategies. So there are certain things which I have devised, which go against conventional wisdom also, but which work brilliantly. So that is what I will tell you. Recordings of all the sessions are provided for 6 months. We have a learning management platform where you can log in and have access to all these recordings. So there are 2 bonuses as well. 2 months of complimentary premium chart subscription, where I give you my own charts. Okay, as I analyze roughly 200 charts a day. So I give you my own charts, which I feel look good for entries. Okay, but once you know what I'm teaching, then you will be able to take these trades on your own. Okay, one free consultation call for 30 minutes within 3 months. And if you want to open a Zerodha account through us, then we will help you with that. Pricing is 65,000 normally, but we are offering a 15% discount. So it's 55,000 till the 23rd of this month. Okay, because we've been running this offer for the last 1 month or so, and the course is on 1st of July, so there's not much time. What is the course content? Candlesticks, okay, most effective candlestick patterns, when and how to use them, trends, okay, Elliott wave, multiple time frame analysis, Fibonacci, technical indicators, trend lines, and chart patterns. You actually don't need indicators. The way I teach, you will use only price action. Okay, but I still teach indicators just in case you want to, I mean, if you've done a course, you should know what this is. But honestly, if you know price, all indicators are derived from price. So if you know price, you don't need any indicators. Okay. Breakouts, learn which types of breakouts to trade and which ones to avoid. Trading strategies, okay, swing trading strategy and one investment strategy. And you honestly need only one strategy to make money. That's it. You know one, master one, and don't be jack of all trades. Just be a master of one. That's more than enough. And how to combine everything. See, you can learn all of this, okay, in theory, but how to combine it in real time, that's the most important thing. In real time, how to combine it, that is what is important. So the date, 1st of July, and the delivery is online. So this is the schedule, blah blah blah. So what I'm going to quickly give you guys is yeah, my WhatsApp group link, okay, for people who are interested in joining the WhatsApp group. I'm just going to put that on the chat. Some people may not be part of it. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so that's the WhatsApp group link. And I'm also going to give you a feedback form. Okay. And I'm going to send you the testimonials separately because we have run out of time. I'm going to take questions now in case there are any questions. I can actually address those. I'll just give you the feedback form link as well quickly. And if you have any questions regarding the course, then I'm going to put Ria's number also over here. You can get in touch with her, and she will tell you, all there is to know about the course. And if need be, I can also come in. Just give me 1 second. Okay, please do take 2 minutes to actually fill in the feedback form. We would really appreciate it. Yeah. And this is the purchase link of the course as well as questions. So I'm going to quickly take questions. So if anybody has a question, they are free to unmute themselves, and we will quickly go through that. I will go through the chat box as well and see what questions are coming up. So okay, Dibyendu has a question. If we are tracking price and use indicators, even one, then this sudden move is generally avoided by all. Am I correct? I'm not sure I understood the question correctly. So probably what you mean is that if there is a sudden downfall or whatever, you can avoid it. So you can avoid it, and it's not. You can use price action. Price action is faster than any indicator. Indicator will take time for you to actually avoid it. Because an indicator always lags because it tracks price. So it is derived from price. So if you learn price action, then you can actually get out quicker. But you can't avoid all down moves, okay, and all sudden moves especially. Okay, there's no way to do, because it's like astrology. You can't really know when the sudden move is going to come. You can only react to the sudden move if it happens, or if you have some pre-decided rules in place, so you will know what to do. See, the markets will do what they have to do. Do you have your rules in place to do what you need to do? That is most important. What is your strategy? I wish it was that simple. And first of all, it cannot be explained in a 1-hour course, in a 1-hour webinar. And secondly, that is what the course is for. I mean, it's a lot of my time and investment that needs to go in. And I believe in doing justice to each and every, person. It doesn't matter. There have been people who have missed webinars, and I've done special sessions for them, only for that 1 or 2 people. Because and I entertain all kinds of questions, so it doesn't matter what your question is. Just go ahead and ask me, okay, and I will answer it. So I mean, commitment is what I charge for. Okay, I mean, my time is precious as well, so which is what the seminar is all about. Okay, anybody else has any questions? Please feel free to use the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and speak to us as well. Speak to me. Any questions whatsoever? I'm just going to give it a minute or so more. If there are no questions, then we will wind up for the day. We are running 7 minutes ahead of schedule. Okay, there seems to be a question. I hope this course takes place next quarter. Yeah, of course it will be. You'll be interested. Thanks a lot, Sean. Appreciate it. Yeah, it would be there. So normally it's once every 2 months, because the course has to finish, in 2 months, and then sometimes I take a 10-day break or whatever before doing the next course. So not sure, but yeah, you're most welcome. Do it at your time and pace. There is no hurry. I always say markets are there forever, but the sooner you learn it, the better it is, because there is some learning time. So my first course, when I did it, I actually didn't even have money to trade. Okay, because I had lost all of it by then. Funneling my business profits into trading, and taking loans for trading and all of that. But I still paid that 33,000. I put it on my credit card. I distinctly remember in 2011. The reason was, I knew that, chalo, I may not have trading capital to start trading immediately, but I can still paper trade. I can still backtest, and there is a learning curve of time that I need to put in. I said, if I wait for the capital to come in, it's going to take me, my learning curve is going to start from that time in the future, whenever that future is. So that's what I decided, and that's what I firmly believe, that I mean, boss, just learn as quickly as you can. Capital, whenever it comes, at least by that time you would have this heads up. Otherwise you're going to spend it from that time in the future, and who knows, I mean, there is no future, right? So I mean, God bless his soul, but unfortunately, I mean, things happen to people which which really catch you, I mean, which are beyond your control. So any other questions, guys? Quickly, if not, then we will call this a night. And thank you so much for putting in the time. I hope I've been able to add some value to to all of this. And I look forward to seeing you all somewhere down the line. Yeah. So thanks a lot once again, and hopefully see you on the WhatsApp group. Most welcome. Most welcome. Most welcome, Trupti. Welcome, Shravan. Yeah. Good night to all.